Okay, so boom. Let me tell y'all how I ended up owing Malik damn near my life savings and jobless. You see that title? Yeah, that's my life right now. But it started so sweet, like a honey bun from the corner store still warm. It all started on Hinge. I saw Malik's profile. Fine, good job. Pictures with his mama. Seemed legit. He had that good dude vibe, you know. We matched, and his first message was smooth, not corny like some of these dudes. We talked about music, both loved SZA, and I was already feeling him. Our first date was at this bougie little spot in the West Village. I wore my Fashion Nova dress, the red one that makes my ass look right, and he was on time, smelling good, and pulled out my chair. Chivalry ain't dead, I thought. We talked for hours, laughing, joking. He even paid, which is a major plus. I texted the crew, Keisha, Shanice, and Tanisha, immediately after. OMG, y'all, I think I found one. Little did I know, the one was about to be the reason I can't afford rent. The next few weeks were straight out of a rom-com, or at least, that's how I saw it then. We went on dates every weekend, rooftop bars, comedy shows, even a spontaneous trip to Coney Island where he won me a stuffed bear, which, looking back, was probably from the dollar store. But whatever. He was always texting, good morning texts, check-in texts during the day, and goodnight texts with heart emojis. I was hooked. I started staying over at his place, a cute little apartment in Brooklyn. He even cooked for me once. Pasta with shrimp, which, okay, wasn't amazing, but the effort was there. I introduced him to my mom, who surprisingly liked him. Mama usually sees through everybody's BS. So that was a good sign, right? My Instagram was blowing up with couple pics. Everybody was saying how cute we were, relationship goals and all that. I even changed my relationship status on Facebook. Yeah, I still use Facebook, don't judge. I was officially sprung, head over heels, blinded by the D. This is it, I told Keisha one night over cocktails. This is the real deal. Now I just want to slap myself looking back. Then came the little things. The cracks. It started with a movie night. We were supposed to watch the new Jordan Peele flick. I was hyped, had my popcorn ready, the works. He texted me an hour before, said he was stuck at work, some emergency with his boss. I was annoyed, but I played it cool. Okay, babe, no worries. Rain check? He said, yeah, for sure. Then didn't text me again that night. The next day, I brought it up. He was all apologetic, said his phone died, blah blah blah. But something felt off. Like, who doesn't have a charger at work? Then he said he'd make it up to me, take me out to this fancy restaurant I'd been wanting to try. But the reservation was for next week. Like, he couldn't even squeeze me in this week. I vented to the crew, of course. Keisha was like, girl, red flag, he playing games. Shanice told me to chill, that guys get busy. Tanisha, ever the drama queen, said he was definitely cheating. That's when the seed of doubt was planted. And once that seed is in your head, it's hard to get rid of it. After that movie night fiasco, I was on high alert. Every little thing Malik did, I analyzed it, overthought it. His phone was always on silent, which he said was for work, but still, sus. He started being vague about his whereabouts, saying he was out with the guys but never specifying who or where. And his social media activity, that's where things got real weird. He wouldn't post pictures of us anymore, which, okay, maybe he's not a social media person, fine. But he was liking other girls' pictures. Not just random girls, but girls I didn't know, girls who looked like Instagram models. And he was quick with the likes, like he was stalking their pages. So, yeah, I started stalking him back. I created a fake Instagram account, a whole burner profile with a cute girl pic as the profile picture. I followed him, and he followed back almost immediately. That's when I knew something was definitely up. My spidey senses were tingling like crazy. He was hiding something, and I was gonna find out what it was. The evidence came on a random Tuesday. I was scrolling through my Explore page on my Reel account, and I saw a picture posted by this girl, Brittany the Baddie, eye roll. It was a group pic from some party. And in the background, blurry but unmistakable, was Malik. He was talking to another girl, and he was leaning close. I zoomed in, enhanced the picture, did all the CSI level stuff you see on television. It was him. I was 99.9% sure. But then, Brittany the Baddie posted a story. A close-up video of her drink, but reflected in the glass was Malik's hand, holding her damn hand. That was it. I saw red. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. All the doubts, all the suspicions, confirmed in one blurry Instagram story. I screenshotted everything, saved it all to my phone. My hands were shaking, I was breathing heavy. I called Keisha, practically screaming into the phone. "Girl, he's cheating! I got proof! I'm gonna expose his ass!" And that's exactly what I did. I went straight to Twitter. I hadn't really used it much before, mostly just retweeted memes and stuff. But Keisha convinced me this was the way to go. Expose him, sis! Let the world know what a fuckboy he is! So, I started typing. I started with the Hinge screenshots, the cute messages, the dates, painting the picture of the perfect boyfriend. Then, bam, the Brittany the Baddie pics. I detailed everything. The movie night cancellation, the vague excuses, the silent phone. I posted screenshots of our texts, highlighting the inconsistencies. I even included Brittany the Baddie's Instagram handle, because petty is as petty does. I called him out for being a liar, a cheater, a manipulator. I didn't hold back. The thread went off. People were retweeting, quoting, commenting. Team Deja. Men ain't shit. This is why I'm single. It was validation city. I was getting hundreds of likes, new followers, people sending me supportive messages. I felt powerful, like I was doing the world a service by exposing this trifling nigga. I even used the hashtag #BlackTwitter because, we gotta support each other. In that moment, I felt like a hero, a wronged woman seeking justice. Looking back, I was just being messy. For a day, maybe two, I was riding high. The thread had thousands of retweets, likes, and comments. People were calling Malik all sorts of names. Some were even digging up his old tweets, finding more evidence of his fuckboy tendencies. It was a full-blown internet witch hunt, and I was leading the charge. The crew was loving it. Keisha was reposting the thread on her Instagram story. Shanice was making memes about it, and Tanisha was already planning my revenge makeover. Even my mom, who usually hates drama, was like, he deserved it. My internship at the boutique was going fine, too. My boss, Miss Tanya, hadn't said anything about the thread. I figured she probably didn't even know about it. She was older, not really on social media like that. I was still posting content for the boutique's Instagram, taking pictures of clothes, writing captions. Life was good, or so I thought. I was getting attention, feeling vindicated, and everything seemed to be falling into place. I should have known it was too good to be true. The universe always balances things out, and this time, it was about to balance hard. The first sign of trouble was a DM from a random account with no profile picture. "You're gonna regret this," it said. I rolled my eyes and blocked them. Then, a few more DMs started trickling in. Some from people defending Malik, saying I was ruining his life. Others were just straight up nasty, calling me names, threatening me. I tried to ignore them, chalking it up to trolls, but it was starting to get to me. Then, Malik's cousin, Shauna, found me on Facebook. She sent me a long message, saying I was lying, that Malik would never cheat, and that I was just jealous because he was doing better than me. She even brought up my past relationships, saying I always sabotage myself. That one stung. The thread started shifting too. Some people were saying I was being too dramatic, that I should have handled it privately. Others pointed out that the evidence wasn't exactly concrete. That could be anyone's hand. One person wrote, "You jumped to conclusions." I started feeling defensive, like I had to justify my actions. But I was right, wasn't I? He was cheating. I did have proof. Right? The doubt was creeping back in. Then, the email arrived. It was from a law firm, something fancy sounding like Goldberg, Stern and Associates. The subject line was, "Cease and desist demand." I almost choked on my coffee. I opened the email, and it was a formal letter from Malik's lawyer, demanding that I take down the Twitter thread immediately. It accused me of defamation, libel, and all sorts of legal jargon I didn't understand. It said that my accusations were false, and that I was causing irreparable harm to Malik's reputation and career. It threatened legal action if I didn't comply within 24 hours. I panicked. I showed the email to Keisha, who was like, "Girl, he's just trying to scare you, don't back down." Shanice, ever the voice of reason, suggested I talk to a lawyer. Tanisha, of course, was ready to fight fire with fire, suggesting I dox Malik and expose all his secrets.
I didn't know what to do. I was scared, but I was also stubborn. I felt like I was in the right, and I wasn't going to let Malik intimidate me. So, I ignored the email. I figured it was just an empty threat. Big mistake. Huge. A week later, I was served. Not served looks, served papers. A process server showed up at my door while I was in my bonnet and house shoes, looking a mess. He handed me a stack of documents, and it was a lawsuit. Malik was suing me for defamation, seeking damages for emotional distress, lost income, and damage to his reputation. I felt like the floor had dropped out from under me. This wasn't just some empty threat, this was real. I called Keisha, sobbing. "Girl, he's suing me. I'm gonna lose everything." Keisha tried to reassure me, but even she sounded worried. I tried to find a lawyer, but most of them wanted a huge retainer fee, money I didn't have. I even considered representing myself. Watching a few YouTube videos about defamation law. I was so lost, so scared. This was way bigger than I had anticipated. It wasn't just about exposing a cheating boyfriend anymore. It was about my future, my reputation, my entire life. And it was all spiraling out of control, thanks to a few tweets and a whole lot of pettiness. The lawsuit was bad enough. But then came the call from Ms. Tanya. I knew it was coming, but I was still hoping she somehow wouldn't find out. She was usually so sweet, so understanding. But her voice was cold, professional. She said she had seen the Twitter thread. Someone had sent it to her, along with a bunch of negative comments about the boutique. People were saying that the boutique supported drama. That they didn't want to shop there anymore because of my online antics. Ms. Tanya said that my actions had damaged the boutique's reputation and that she had no choice but to suspend me, pending further review. I tried to explain, to apologize, but she wouldn't listen. She said she needed to protect her business. I understood, but it still stung. That internship was my lifeline. My chance to get my foot in the door in the fashion industry. Now, it was gone. A few days later, I got another call. This time, it was permanent. I was officially fired. The lawsuit and the job loss? It was too much. I felt like I was drowning. I should have listened, I whispered to myself. I really fucked up. Without the internship, money became a real problem. I was already living paycheck to paycheck, and now I had no income coming in. The lawyer fees were piling up, even though I was barely doing anything. I couldn't afford my rent anymore, so I had to move back in with my mom. It was embarrassing. Going from living my best life in a cute apartment in Brooklyn to sleeping on my old twin bed in my childhood bedroom. My mom tried to be supportive, but I could see the disappointment in her eyes. She had always told me to be careful about what I posted online, and now her words were coming back to haunt me. I started applying for other jobs, but every time they Googled my name, the Twitter thread would come up. Some potential employers even asked me about it during the interview, which was mortifying. So, I see you have a lot of experience with social media drama, one interviewer said, with a sarcastic tone. I was stuck. Jobless, broke, and facing a lawsuit. My life had completely fallen apart, all because of a few ill-advised tweets. The pressure was crushing me. The legal process was a nightmare. I ended up finding a lawyer who would take my case pro bono, a young, fresh out of law school type named David. He was nice, but he was clearly overwhelmed. He kept telling me I needed to provide more evidence, more witnesses, something to prove that Malik was actually cheating. But all I had was that blurry picture and the Instagram story. David said that wasn't enough to prove defamation. He explained that defamation required proving that I had made false statements that damaged Malik's reputation. He said that even if Malik was cheating, that didn't give me the right to blast it all over the internet. We went back and forth for months, filing motions, attending hearings. It was exhausting, both emotionally and financially. David kept telling me that my chances of winning were slim, that I should consider settling. But I was stubborn. I didn't want to back down. I still felt like I was right. Then, Malik's lawyer presented new evidence. He had screenshots of my DMs with Keisha, Shanice, and Tanisha, where I was clearly plotting to expose Malik. He even had a copy of the fake Instagram account I had created. It was all over. As the lawsuit dragged on and my chances of winning dwindled, the crew started to distance themselves. Keisha stopped answering my calls as often. Shanice was always busy whenever I wanted to hang out. Tanisha, the one who had been the most gung-ho about exposing Malik, completely disappeared. I felt betrayed. They had encouraged me to do this, hyped me up, and now they were leaving me to face the consequences alone. I tried to talk to Keisha about it, but she just brushed it off. Girl, I got my own problems, she said. I can't be dealing with your drama right now. I realized that they were never really my friends. They were just there for the entertainment, for the gossip. They loved the drama, but they didn't want to be involved when things got real. I felt isolated and alone. I had lost my boyfriend, my job, my friends, and now I was about to lose a lawsuit. All because I had let my emotions get the best of me and listened to the wrong people. The only person I could really blame was myself. The judge ruled in Malik's favor. He found me liable for defamation and ordered me to pay him a significant amount of money in damages. The exact amount is something I'm still trying to block out. It was more than I could ever hope to earn in a year, maybe even 2. David looked defeated. He said there was nothing else he could do, that appealing the decision would just cost me more money. I was devastated. I had lost everything. I had to take down the Twitter thread, of course. It felt like admitting defeat, like erasing my voice. But I had no choice. I also had to issue a public apology to Malik, which was even more humiliating. I had to admit that my accusations were false, that I had damaged his reputation, and that I was sorry for my actions. The apology felt like a knife twisting in my gut. It was a public admission of my mistakes, a permanent stain on my online reputation. But it was the only way to move forward. To try to salvage what was left of my life. The internet never forgets, but hopefully, one day, it will forgive. Looking back, I can see where I went wrong. I let my emotions cloud my judgment. I jumped to conclusions based on limited evidence. I listened to the wrong people, who encouraged me to act impulsively without considering the consequences. And honestly, I was thirsty for attention. I wanted the validation, the likes, the retweets. I wanted to be seen as the wronged woman, the victim. I didn't care about the truth, I just cared about getting revenge. I know what I did was wrong. I know I hurt Malik, even if he was being a shady dude. I know I damaged his reputation, and I regret that. But part of me still feels like he deserved it. Like, if he hadn't been acting suspicious, none of this would have happened. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should have handled things differently. Maybe I should have just blocked him and moved on. But I didn't. I chose to go public. And now I'm paying the price. I guess the moral of the story is, think before you tweet. Because those 280 characters can ruin your life. So, what's the lesson here? I guess it's that social media is a powerful tool, but it can also be a dangerous weapon. It can connect you with people from all over the world, but it can also ruin your life in an instant. It's important to think before you post, to consider the consequences of your actions. I'm not saying that you should never express yourself online. But you should be mindful of what you say, who you say it to, and how it might be interpreted. And you should definitely avoid engaging in online drama, especially when emotions are running high. I'm still trying to figure out how to move forward. I'm working on paying off my debt to Malik, which is going to take years. I'm looking for a new job. But it's tough with the lawsuit still hanging over my head. I'm also trying to rebuild my reputation, to show people that I'm not just some crazy, vindictive woman who blasts her personal life all over the internet. It's a long road ahead, but I'm determined to make it. I just hope that one day I can look back on this whole experience and laugh. But right now, all I feel is regret. But, honestly, part of me still wonders if Malik learned his lesson, too. Did he ever apologize to Brittany Labadie for leading me on? Did he ever acknowledge that his behavior was shady, even if it wasn't technically cheating? Probably not. And what about Keisha, Shanice, and Tanisha? Did they ever feel any remorse for encouraging me to do something so reckless? Did they ever offer to help me pay my legal fees? Of course not. They're probably already moved on to the next drama, the next juicy scandal. So, yeah, I learned a lesson. But I'm not sure everyone else did. And that's what really pisses me off. I'm the one who's stuck paying the price, while everyone else gets to walk away scot-free. I'm trying to be a better person, to make better choices. But it's hard when you feel like you're the only one taking responsibility for your actions. Maybe one day, I'll forgive Malik. Maybe one day, I'll forgive the crew. But right now, I'm still too angry, too hurt, too broke. The world ain't fair, and I learned that the hard way. I'm saying all this not for sympathy, not really. Maybe a little, I ain't gonna lie. But mainly, I'm saying it so maybe somebody else won't make the same dumbass mistake I did. Seriously, if you're thinking about airing out your dirty laundry online, just don't. Get a therapist. Write in a journal. Punch a pillow. Anything is better than what I went through. I'm trying to focus on the future, on getting my life back on track. I'm thinking about going back to school. Maybe studying something practical this time, like accounting or nursing. Something that will actually get me a good job, not just Instagram likes. And who knows? Maybe one day I'll even find love again. But next time, I'll be a lot more cautious, a lot more discerning. I'll look for red flags, not just Instagram followers. And I definitely won't be sharing my relationship drama with the world. So yeah, that's my story. Messy, complicated, and expensive. But hopefully, it's also a lesson. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go fill out another job application. Wish me luck. Lord knows I need it. And delete Twitter, for real. Maybe.